Hello. Oh, that was high pitched, right? That was high pitched. Rena, we're here today. You and I, we're having a hard go, aren't we? Because we're so lucky that we're busy, but we're so unlucky that we're
We're
busy.
busy.
And it's
That's
summer,
it.
right?
That's it. Well, the one thing that I've realized in life is that growth is not comfortable. And if you're always in growth mode, which we're always trying to be, you are never comfortable.
That is so true. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read
Oh,
that
well, that
somewhere
makes me
and it's
kind of feel
hit.
better. Um,
Yeah.
I have this phrase that, so I play Supernatural. Guys, we're gonna get to the topic, and it's all about content, but I just need to say this thing. So in Supernatural, they sometimes say inspiring things, and this guy, it's an exercise thing, and this guy says, "I'm not gonna let life take me alive," and I'm like, "Yes!" Like that's how I want to live. Yeah. So now I'm uncomfortable all the time because I'm always trying to grow. Right, right.
Yeah.
And today, do you know what we're talking about? I know you do.
Yes, I do. We are talking about how to be efficient with your content. Yay, my favorite.
Right?
My
Yay!
favorite.
And
Yeah.
this is
So,
I have to say this is more you than me, to be honest, because I do theory and SEO stuff, and you actually do content to social, which is
yeah.
quite the brilliant strategy. And today we're gonna bend your ear or open up your brain a little bit and get all the flowers out. So weird, right?
Excellent.
Phelan makes fun of my
Yeah.
metaphors, I'll tell you. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's get into this. And if
Right.
you all have questions, just pop them in. We'll get them answered. If you're joining us today, say hello. Do you do your own content? Is the question today. Rena, how do you do
Yes.
this? How are we saving?
Right.
So, how are we saving? How are we being lazy with our content?
Yes, yes, exactly. And that is exactly what I always tell all of my new clients. We want to be really lazy with our content. And what I mean by that is two things is you want to actually make sure that your budget is actually at least equally, if not more, sending out your content rather than producing your content. Um, and we'll get into that a little bit more deep
Oh,
in half
oh,
of it. Uh-oh, what
say
happened?
that again. I just muted you because I'm that fun.
Oh no. Okay. All right. So, what I mean when I meet my clients and I say my philosophy is to be as lazy with the content, is it's twofold. So, first of all, you want to make sure that your budget is organized so that you're spending at least 50-50 on content production and distribution. And in fact, I actually like to weight my budgets more on distribution, less on content production. And I think what people get into, if you're actually working with people that consider themselves content marketers, they usually spend a lot of time creating the content, and you really want to make sure that you exhaust that content. So what I mean by that is put it out there and then let it stay out there and keep pushing it out there in all of the channels in all of the ways and for as long as you can on your ad spend until the numbers tell you it's dying. When the numbers tell you it's dying, then you move on to your next piece of fresh content. Because you have to remember, just because you have a page and just because people think that you need to actually put out an Instagram post every single day, I don't know where that came from. It's only your feed that shows you your Instagram post every day. What happens on the for the user is that your posts go through their feed. Usually they're not actually even going to your page. It's going through their feed. So what we want to make sure is that we have enough content constantly going through their feed, which is not the same as posting regularly. So now, if you're not using an ad spend, it is a little bit different, but you still want to use the same principles. You want to look at the numbers. So sometimes you need more than one day for your post to get through. So if you post one post and then you post another post up top, this post will now squish the algorithm of this post. So you're actually diminishing the results of the first post yourself, not Facebook
Oh,
or and
this
when I say Facebook, I mean Instagram. So
okay.
that's the organic part. So that's like distribution in a nutshell. Then the second part of it is you want to make sure that when you actually create a piece of content, you are using that and sending that in all out in all of the avenues. So we know that people like to consume content quite differently. So there are going to be some people that are just going to read your e-newsletter. They are not on Facebook, or they might have a Facebook account and they check in every now and again. And we already know that Facebook's algorithm, if you're not spending money, it's a really big pay to play. And Instagram is getting more so like that too. So if you have people who are in a Facebook group, you have people that join groups. I'm a group joiner on Facebook. I love those groups. I view almost all my content in there. So if you are a Facebook business, you want to put it out on your page, but you also want to make sure you're getting it in the group. So you want to actually create that content into many different forms. So
No, wait,
the blog is the start.
yeah, I want to
Yeah.
pull you. I want to pull you back
Yeah.
because your
I
stuff
know.
is
Sorry.
so good. And so there's different strategies with content which are really important. And I think that the posting strategy, we all feel this pressure to
Yes.
post every day or have something on our
Yes.
content, and
Yes.
man, it's overwhelming, right? And
Yes.
but if you use a strategy, so I think we've all kind of learned that if we actually have a strategy in place and we can use
Yes.
the content. Now, when we dug into how you do content for your clients, you create a blog post. And so here's the thing that I get confused about. If you create a blog post and then you're going to share it on social media and you're going to share
Yes.
it till the numbers dwindle, am I
Yes.
sharing the same content over and over?
No.
Or how am I splitting out I have a five
Right.
paragraph
Yes.
article on
Yes.
meat packing. No, not meat packing.
Meat
Uh,
packing. Any example will
anything.
work.
Okay, yeah. Say on
Okay.
countertops.
Okay. Countertops. All right. So first of all, you're going to do your research, your keyword research to figure out what you're going to say about countertops and what that all should be. Your all social media should be in support of your website.
And
Your
why is that?
website SEO, your website SEO. It doesn't matter what you do, it's all towards website SEO. Your newsletter should be in support of your website SEO, because that is the thing. Those are the two things that you own. You own your website. If you're using a self-hosted website like WordPress, for example, or any other one that you have on your own hosting account, that is, you own that. You own all of it.
Content, you can download it from others. You can
Yeah, you
download
can download, but it's a lot harder. So when you put up all your blogs on Shopify, there are ways to get it off. It's just not that easy. So my thing is that when you own your website, you own everything easily. Nobody's going to jack up the price on you without you noticing. Like Shopify could do that. Squarespace could do that. You just don't know. Facebook changes the algorithm. Wherever you're putting your content, you're beholden to their rules. They create the rules, and we just complain about them. So the point is that once you've got that beautiful piece of blog article organized, then what I do is I distribute it across channels, and I distribute it differently across channels. So for example, if it's a video that I put up on a blog post, then I will upload that video directly into Facebook and all of the other platforms, because I know that people don't often go from Facebook or from
well,
LinkedIn or whatever it is. They don't go out to YouTube,
well,
right?
it's the all the platforms don't want you to leave. I mean,
That's
so
correct. That's
that's
right.
what
That's
Facebook
exactly
and
it.
Google. So Google, I don't know if you guys know this, but Google hates Facebook just for the simple fact that they people go to Facebook and they stay there. Same as Instagram, YouTube, they do that. But
Yeah,
with Google, you go to Google and then you leave. That's
that's
why
right.
Google's changing. So
That's
this is
right.
where it becomes really important to send everybody back to your website, right?
That's right. So what I do when I put the video up, I don't just leave it like that, because that's sort of it's we want to encourage people to leave. So I put the video up, then I will put extra special content like downloadables that go with it, or extra points in the actual blog article, or helpful things, whatever it could be, helpful things that go with that blog article. And then we put the link in the status. So then there's a blog article to go to, because in that way, Facebook does not recognize the link as a link post. It recognizes it as a video, and the algorithm treats each kind of content post differently.
Yeah.
So you get better algorithm on a video.
So when you create content, you're creating an article, you might have a video that goes with it that you've
Mm-hmm.
created. Is it a simple
Yeah.
video, or is it a like the article? Is it, how is it
It
related
can
to
be anything. So it could be a lot of things. Sometimes clients give me informational videos that they've done that they've got somebody producing. I've got one real estate client who likes to do updates on his phone. He just does the DIY version and then sends them over. So whenever he does that, we'll paraphrase what he says in the blog article, and then we'll give extra special
Oh,
information to back up what he says. Links out to different things, tools, whatever it is that you've got. Add extra good stuff in the blog article because you really want people to visit your site and spend time on your site. Right. So that's the other thing. If you're putting your video up on Facebook and you're putting your video up on your blog, and then you're only putting lots of people do this, only putting a transcript or a paraphrasing of that blog, then you've annoyed me because I've already watched the video. If the
yeah.
text doesn't actually give me anything else, I feel like I've been duped into losing, a couple of minutes of my time before I realize that
Some
that it's
people
exactly the same.
some people like so for podcasts, some people like to go and read the transcripts.
Yep.
Um and resources are often put in there. However, yeah, if it's just to fill a page
Like,
to rank, I mean, that's
yes.
technically poor. Don't get me wrong. We've all done it. We've all tried it. If it makes you feel bad, it's probably the wrong thing to do. So, how long, Rena? Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot that goes. So, we're talking about making content
Yeah.
easier and being
Yeah.
lazy.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we just made content a lot harder.
No. So what we've done is we've actually taken that blog article. I mean, yes and no. We've taken that blog article. What we haven't done, which I've seen people do, is that they create the blog article and then they don't actually think about that blog article ever again. And then they start making Facebook and Instagram posts that are completely different and separate. That's too much writing. That is like overextending yourself. You don't need to do it. And then they write their newsletter that's completely separate again from their blog articles or
Okay, so
anything
where do you
else that they're
start?
putting out there.
Do you start with the
At the
blog
blog,
article or
the
the
content,
newsletter?
the content calendar and the blog article, and then you distribute. So it's always the blog article and then you distribute. So if newsletter is a distribution method, then you're starting with the blog article. Yeah. And then what you do is you take all of the little bits in your blog article and you create tweets. And chances are a lot of those tweets will turn into evergreen tweets, like they're pieces, nuggets of gold that you came up with while you're writing your blog article,
Nuggets
that are
of
not
gold.
specific. Yeah, nuggets of gold. We want our tweets to be nuggets of gold. So we create a document, a tweet document, and anything that can be evergreened, we throw into that tweet document so that we can reuse them. And
Ooh,
there are some really great, what do you call them? Platform
that
schedulers out
grab.
there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't
that
there
you can
something that
actually,
grabs tweets? Like you can have it on
yeah.
your site?
Uh, Yeah, I don't really know that much about that because that's not part of the system that I use, but I'm sure that exists. But there are other things that exist. I just looked at a new scheduling opportunity where the evergreen stuff stays in the platform and you recycle it. Hootsuite is like you put it in a CSV file and then you can actually bulk upload all those tweets every now and again and reschedule those evergreen tweets. But you definitely want to be well aware of blog articles that are evergreen topics for your company and and the tweets that you've made. So
Can you use
on your blog.
as social like others like Facebook? Because a lot of people do. A lot of people use Twitter still.
Well, they should if they're not, because while it's not the best for engagement on most topics, like right there, it really depends
Industry.
on your industry. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on Twitter. That's for sure. It's not a dead space, and it's not a completely only marketing space. I actually spend quite a bit of time there myself. That's where I actually meet people that are. that are more important in life than I am. That's what I look at Twitter as, the space to actually meet people that are more important than you.
Interesting.
And yeah, because you can kind of develop little chit chats back and forth, and it's easy to follow people closely on Twitter. And there are lots of really great personalities up there. Lots of people in the media. Those are the people that I'm interested in because of social media. Lots of people that are doing PR. Lots of journalists. Journalists are totally on there, man.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all
So
up
are
there. So if you
SEOs, like they're all
yeah,
over it, right?
yeah. But but really, the tweets should always include a link back to your website. So they really perform more of an SEO component for most of my small clients than anything else.
Did you know that? So, as for relationships, I'm all about the platform relationships. Google and Twitter are pretty tight, and they had a falling out years ago, but it goes back and forth, and sometimes you'll actually see. So they do in real time pull in
Yeah.
tweets and put them in the search engine results pages. If you like
Yes.
search a famous
Yes.
person, you could probably see their tweets in a carousel, right? Especially
That's
nowadays.
right.
So
That's right. And then the other aspect of Twitter that I think people should not lose sight on is that it did not change for years and years and years and years and years. It did not change. I think there was one big change where they went to from 120 characters to 240 characters, and that was a big deal.
there's
But there are a lot of changes now. There are a lot of changes. Like people can subscribe to your newsletter, and there are a bunch of tweets,
heard
and
that.
then you can create groups now, and they're coming up with what did I say last month? Was that Twitter that's coming up with another? Yeah, there's there are a lot of changes going on. So you don't really want to like I like to focus in one thing for my clients. Like I focus on or
Facebook, right?
usually three. Yeah, Facebook because the ads are still the best, honestly. But I also think that you should be doing the bare minimum on as many as you can. So if you automate things, like I automate things to Pinterest, I don't actually go on there very often, but I automate things to Pinterest.
Interesting.
If I had a client that was, obviously Pinterest would be the number one spot for them, then I would be on Pinterest a lot. But that's not the case at this particular moment. I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram, but we do a lot of Instagram posts, and then we send Instagram to Twitter because there's some really good automations that can happen that'll put really lovely, juicy pictures in Twitter. So it essentially looks like you're there, even when you're only
Oh,
checking in once a week.
we're
Yeah.
gonna have to be talking about this at another
Oh
time.
yeah, automations. Yeah, that should be another whole topic, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even the best on automations. I hear that we have another moderator in the group that's pretty good on automations. So we'll get her on board and we'll just keep that as a big surprise at the moment.
Oh, that's exciting.
Right. So once you've done that, once you've split up all of your posts, so all of your blog posts are, you can do similar posts between Facebook and Instagram. Of course, you need to add way more hashtags. Your hashtags are going to be different on Instagram than Facebook, and your call to action is going to be different on Instagram than Facebook. Your tweets are going to be shorter, but sometimes my tweets actually work the whole if I move my Facebook to Twitter. Usually what I do is I actually chunk the entire Facebook post. I throw it on Google My Business. I
Yes.
throw it into LinkedIn. I make subtle changes. So on LinkedIn, I might be a little less familiar. I might be a little more professional,
Mm.
depending on the client. On Google My Business, I'm fairly generic. We're not looking for engagement there. We are looking to occupy that beautiful space on your Google My Business
Pay.
section on search. Like there's a
Yeah, yeah,
beautiful,
yeah.
you get like 2 inches by 1 inch for each blog post. That's free.
Yes, and it attaches, so it does a good linking process because it'll take
Yes,
somebody right to your blog post. It's actually quite
that's right.
smart. If we're all more strategic about how we do things, and you know that phrase, I know I haven't read this book, but it's slow down to speed up. You know,
Yeah.
if you get more organized here, then it becomes simple, mostly,
Yes.
right? But
Yes.
it's hard to
Yes.
figure out your system. It's
Yes.
you know,
So
it's like
if you're not working, Yeah, if you're not working from a content calendar, you don't know what you're doing. So the content calendar directs you. It's a roadmap. It tells you what your blog posts are going to be for the next number of months. And from that, you want a breadcrumb. So if you're doing a blog post on countertops, then maybe you want to do some tweets. You could do, or some posts to Facebook about types of materials for countertops, or some related things, or um, how you measure to put in a sink. I don't know, like I'm making this up, right? And then you want to look for curated content that's you're not going to make, that is going to support your blog post.
Mhm.
And you're going to um, look on your blog and see if you have any old blog posts
Mhm.
that support your new blog post. And then you're going to check for links, internal linking possibilities, and you're going to put it up on like Throwback Thursday, or um, oldie but a goodie, whatever hashtag you want to use to tell people that this is from a few years ago, but it relates to our post that we put up um, on Tuesday, for
Yeah.
example, right? And then you've got, so then there's your content, right? And really, you only need, on Facebook, I only post every second day for my clients,
Okay.
honestly.
Really? It sounds like a essentially a 50-50 split between you find
Yeah.
keywords and write content. How long is that going to take you?
Well,
Uh,
we do that once a week. We
okay.
do that. Sorry, once a month. We organize our content once a month.
Okay. And you organize it for the rest of the month. But how many blog posts is that in a month usually?
It depends on the client. So, what is most important is consistency. So, if you choose once a week, then stick to once a week. And if you choose once a month, then stick to once a month. And what you don't want to do, and this happens, I see this all the time, people get excited and they send me like 5 videos all at once and they want them all up at once. But the algorithm absolutely hates that. So, take a breath, put it in a Dropbox folder, and save it for next week, and then put the next one out the week following week after that, and that. So you want time in between for things to be able to circulate, especially if you're relying on organic algorithms. Like if you're not putting ad spend into it, then you don't want to put it up all at once. And what you definitely don't want to do is put up a really good piece of like sales content, like content about your product or whatever it is, and then that afternoon put something else that's dumb up, like something that has nothing to do with your sales because it's timely. Because what you've just done is squished that previous post. You want to organize it so that you have fun posts first that get a lot of engagement, and then you want to hit them with your sales post, your blog post, or whatever primary piece of content that is your business. Because all of that engagement that happens on that silly post, like if we put up a meme or something that's hilarious that takes off, or something that's viral, then all of that engagement will hit that algorithm, boost it up, and then you can ride that algorithm rush on your next post.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you plan out, so you say you post content monthly, but do you
Yeah.
plan your content calendar out for 6 months, 3 months?
Oh yeah. So I actually, there are different aspects of my content calendar, and I fill them in at different times of the year. So at the beginning of the year, or before the end of the year, really is usually when I do it. I sit down with the client and we plan out the campaigns for the year. When are you going to have your sales? And sometimes my clients don't know these things because they're quite small businesses. So what we do is we figure out what the buying cycles are through the year, and what promotions we can tap into. So usually I've already got on there Christmas holidays for sales. We think of back to school as a campaign. We think of Mother's Day is the second biggest shopping of the year. So
Interesting.
you don't, yeah. So you always want to be. Then we have Black Friday,
I
Cyber
gotta
Monday.
wait, hold on. Just a
Yeah. Okay.
side note that's silly. Side note that's silly. Um, Father's Day back 20 years ago. I don't know about now because of phones, but it was the highest collect call day in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Collect calls, hey?
Collect call day, right?
That's
Um,
funny.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that's why I had to interrupt you. I'm like, I know a weird fact.
Do the kids know what a collect call is?
No, no. Just no.
Okay. I
So,
know. Okay, so now back on to things that don't make me feel old. Um, we have um, oh shoot. Oh yeah. So mothers. So yeah. So I go through all of the yearly things. So if you're dealing with a sportswear store, then you want to know like when do people start shaping up for their summer season, or their what seasons are in the winter, or when do we start doing our leg exercises for ski season? All of those things we want to know when we should be thinking about those things. So those things I do once a year. And then I have monthly meetings with my clients, usually on the 15th for the following month, because if the 2 weeks is a good enough time to get your first batch of content organized for them. And then monthly, we will actually nail down. So we might have working titles for blog posts for the year. We might have working titles for the month, but the really we do the research and figure out what that title should be.
ooh,
And then,
that take.
pardon?
How long
How's
does that take?
No, we have a tool. We use a tool, and if you visit my blog, you'll find my social media sanity tools, and my headline checker is on that. And
In
that really helps. Yeah. So, of course, you're going to want your keyword in your title. So, you've already done the keyword research. But when you're doing the title checker, that's really helpful because it helps to analyze whether or not your title is going to be interesting, or if it's got any emotional words in it that sort of propel the person.
it's
So,
really interesting about that because I know
yeah,
it's it's like don't read a book by its cover. Well, you do,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so your headline. I hate to say it because I'm not the best at this all the time, and there's a lot of strategy that goes into every little bit of things, right? So. Best headline I've seen recently was, and it was for a sale thing, and it was get a quote in 3 minutes. I was like, perfect.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Because
going
you
to
know
use it.
exactly what you're getting. And that's the thing. Headlines should tell
It
you
wasn't
exactly.
minutes.
Yeah,
I
we
haven't
need to
even
do
got
a
a
whole thing
quote
on.
yet,
Yeah. Oh, are
but
you
it's good.
serious?
No, well, I've talked to the guy and I've had emails, so it's worked. It worked. I
I
got
don't
the
know. My expectations will be quite different if it says get a quote in 3 minutes. My expectations are set at that. I think that would give me a bad experience.
oh, interesting because I mean I got
Yeah.
the attention I needed right away, and that's what I was
Right.
looking for.
Okay. Yes,
Because
but that's not what it says. I'm a very literal girl, so it's like I want to know, and that bugs me the most. So often, and you see it a lot on news articles, they have got a different person writing the headline than who writes the article. And usually, it can be very misleading because, of course, journalism is in the, you know, poo. Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to get you to click, right? So they will mislead, and so you find out, it'll be some title about so and so is charged with murder, and then you find out that actually they're not in the article, and
yeah,
it's
yeah, that was like
that bugs me.
it was there was something with Google and oh, it would duplicate content.
Oh
And
yeah,
the title, and it was like, and they had John Mueller in there, and like the actual article explained what it is and what it isn't.
right.
It was
Yeah,
great, but the headline was, um,
duplicate content doesn't matter anymore.
that's right, and it all
Yes,
like
I
you just
remember that.
you die inside a little bit, you know.
Yes, because here's the thing, half the people don't even read the article, so they're going away thinking that duplicate content doesn't matter anymore. That was the highlight of the whole article, and that's all they need to know.
And
Do
then
you know
we
what I'm saying?
spend our time re-educating. So,
Yes, yes. I can't tell you how many conversations I had after that article circulated.
oh
It
yeah,
was unreal. But yeah, so basically plan that out, get the working titles, run the titles through your checker when you finish your article, because really I like to work with working titles until the article is finished, because sometimes the article will tell me in the end what the title should actually be, because sometimes you don't have that insight before you write the article. So I usually have a working title, write the article, then choose the headline, then from there do my social posts. And here's the other thing, I don't get super granular on my social posts on the content calendar. I might say on Mondays, I'm going to do a Monday mantra or Motivation Monday or something like that. And then on Tuesdays, we always put our blog articles, because I like Tuesdays for blog articles
interesting.
for most of my clients. And then And then I might want to leave Thursdays for either Throwback Thursday. I like to highlight my clients' achievements or old blog articles that are still relevant that speak to the blog article or the promotion that we're currently having. And then that's pretty much something fun on the weekend, because that's how I go. And now there are some clients where the main meat of the material needs to go out on the weekends. I do have some clients that where that's the case. The numbers tell me. So if you're wondering when to post, the numbers tell you. I will not tell you. The numbers tell you
Where are
what you
you
need to
seeing those
test.
numbers?
Well, I was using Facebook Insights mostly.
Isn't that
Um,
on now?
I don't know. It's funny because I'm doing up my reports this afternoon, and I don't think they're gone yet. Is from what I've looked at, but they're supposed to be going. But I think they're just going to go somewhere else. I don't think they're going to be going
They're
forever. I think,
not gone.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Facebook's going to give you some information.
Yeah,
It's very foolish
yeah.
to do.
Yeah, because what's the point of collecting all that data if you're not going to actually use it or let anyone else use it? So, yeah, I look at the numbers. Usually you can tell by the engagement on posts, if it goes up or down, depending on when you're posting it. I mean, it's really hard to test because um, if you switch up your content subject drastically on your tests, then you're not going to really get a good test. But also, on the other hand, if you've posted something quite similar at the same if you post something quite similar on Tuesday and then something quite similar on Thursday, thinking that you're going to test, that's not going to work either, because there's not enough space between that same topic, I find.
Interesting. So there is so
Yeah.
funny because I work in my grassroots way of, like we all do, where we, maybe you don't, but I don't spend enough time on my own content, developing it and doing it right. And so we all know when we start our business, we just throw stuff out there, right? We're like, oh my god, you're on
Just
the
get it up. Just get it up.
just get it, and then
Yeah.
3 years in or 5 years in, you're like, okay, this needs to be strategy and over time, right?
Yeah.
And building it out. And it's funny because right when you're speaking, my whole thing where I pay most of my attention to is the structure of how I want to write, not about the distribution. So I have a new theory that I'm trying, and it works in alignment with what happened with my education, which is great.
Yes.
However, it sounds like I'm missing the mark a little bit because, ta-da,
Well,
I don't have a posting strategy.
yeah. There's so much out there on how to write posts and how to write in general that I don't really cover that so much in this topic. So when we're talking about being efficient with content, I'm thinking that the content is already organized and all of that. And it sounds like we probably need to break this topic up into a bunch of subtopics and do some more.
So fun.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're
Out of time.
we're running out of time. Exactly. But yeah, so just to recap, you want to start with I always start with keyword research and what I want to do with my SEO strategy on my website. And that actually directs my social media strategy. And that's what makes us different. So a lot of people have two silos. They have what's going on with their SEO, they've got what's going on with their social, and then SEM is with the SEO. Maybe the SEM is completely separate. It's hard to say, but you want them all working together. That's the point.
There's
That's
a
my
lot of
point.
different strategy that goes into it. And I think this is where people don't necessarily see specifically the value of social. People see more of the value with Google Ads and SEO, but there is
Yeah.
hours and hours of strategy, and the strategy is not the same for everybody. Each different business, each different vertical is different, right?
Yeah.
But it sounds like the major takeaway here is spend half your time making your content, spend the other half distributing it, and figure out your system.
Or budget. I look at budget, not time.
Okay.
Budget. So if you're spending and calculate your time in that budget, like how much time you take
Was it
to
time budget or money budget, right?
yeah, exactly. Content. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, just make sure if you don't have an ad budget and you've got time, so you've either got money or you've got time. So Pip and I don't have any time. We've just got lots of, we don't, I'm not sure. Do we have
I had lots of money.
I know, right? I know. By that standard.
I share a box with people, and my box is like no money, no time, or time and money,
Yes,
or
exactly.
no money
This
and
is
no
what
time, or no time and money. It's amazing I can say that in such a fluid way now, I'll tell you. Anyway, we have to
that's
go.
right. I
Next
know.
week is the difference between Oh, this is going to be really interesting. The difference between WP, block builders, and page builders. I cannot wait for this topic. If
Oh
you're
my gosh,
interested,
who's doing that one? Who's on that?
I think you are. No, no,
Am
I'm just,
I? Excellent, because I was thinking I have so much. How did I not get on that?
no,
It's
no, no, I
like,
don't know
okay.
if it's you or Phelan. I know it's definitely not me, and I will be attending. We hope to see you all there. If you're catching the replay, say hi. And if you don't know, we're in this group called Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. And if you're not part of the group, come join us. We'd love to see you there. We like making new friends, and we always talk marketing on Thursdays. Okay, bye.